Hey, what's going on, everybody? I wanted to come on and talk about something a little different tonight. No sports tonight. I saw the interview with a little bit of it here and there. Cam Newton and Dr. I think her name's Dr. Brian. I think that's what she goes by. But I saw something, and I want to watch this and give like a little commentary for us regular brothers because Cam Newton's situation is very different from most men. He's probably like the 1% of men that, however, just because, what I want to say, just because you're in the 1%, you still can make good decisions and have discipline and self restraint. And that's what I want to kind of get into today. I want to really stress this to my young brothers, my middle age. Things I wish I would have learned when I was younger. I should have exercised more when I was younger. And I want to use this as a learning lesson, not to go against Cam, anything. I just want to use this as an example. And let's watch the clip real quick, before we really get into it.
I'm not married, right? I have beautiful children,
How many?
8.
I thought I didn't do my research. I thought it was 4, but 8. Okay.
No, baby.
Cool.
It's
By how
8.
many women?
3. And this is the kicker. I want more. Now,
By multiple women? What's the intent?
I
I'm
just
saying,
want
or by
God
your
to bring
wife?
him. I just want God to bring him.
Oh, okay. And you have, so you just
Because
bring 'em,
my
okay.
point is this. My desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. So, as you had said, Dr. Brian, you said it, I didn't say it, I will agree. I'm just taking my time.
You're not taking your time.
I am, though.
You're being very action based. You're not taking your time. You're being very action based.
I'm taking my time.
You're being very action based. You have 8 kids with
Yeah.
3 different women.
Yes.
You are creating, procreating, and multiplying. That is not taking your time. You're being very selectively active. Okay? So you're creating, in disclaimer, the kids are innocent, they are beautiful and amazing. Anything I say has nothing to do with them babies because I can't wait to be a mom and I love, 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 love the kids, period. But you are proactively choosing where you want to be active at and where you want to take your time. You want to take your time in having a wife because of your own fears.
So, thinking about this, right? Oh, sometimes you got to hear something from different sides because when you look at both of these, if I can rewind it, kind of get that full shot of them.
Heck yeah.
So,
Trying to see if I can get a full shot of them both sitting across from each other right there. All right. Looking at these two people, you're looking at almost like a spectrum, opposite sides of the spectrum, right? You're looking at a person, most guys, especially when you're younger, how old is Cam? Probably in his 30s, maybe 35 or something like that. But most guys wish they had the kind of wealth or financial situation that Cam has. It's not normal. Uh, the normal black male not don't have that kind of wealth. And with that wealth, if you don't learn discipline and if you don't learn self-restraint, only thing the money would do is expose your cracks, your weaknesses, and your faults. And people that what am I trying to say? They are fishing or looking for people like him are really crafty at playing into your weaknesses, your cracks, and your faults. Money can be like a flood of water. And one of the worst things to have when you got a flood of water is any cracks, anything water can find its way and seep into. It'll come through and it'll start coming out, spilling out. So when he says that he has 8 kids by 3 different women, once again, life is more than just looking at one thing. It's like a whole. It's like a coin. It's like a Rubik's cube. There's so many sides to when you hear stuff. And I'm saying full disclosure, I came from a blended family, so I know definitely some of the stuff dudes say it's not, but it actually kind of is. And I don't think just because you have money and can just dish it out, you need 10,000, you need this, you need 5,000. Okay, here, the actual time that you can spend or live when you live with your kids, it's a different dynamic when you live with your kids. I'm talking about all your kids and have all your kids by the same woman. It's a different dynamic. I didn't grow up like that, but I made that decision to live like that, to have all my kids by one woman. And I can tell you that it is a different dynamic. Now, like I said when I first started, I would want all my young brothers, whoever hear this or whoever see this, even after it's recorded, discipline and self-restraint is so important when you're young. It can save you from so much trouble. It can save you from so much headache. The quicker you learn it, the better off you'll be. Take it from somebody who learned later in life. It's really hard when you're young and you don't have a father figure or a male figure that can relate to you, that you can speak to. A lot of times, younger guys, it's hard to reach guys by the time they're an adult if they didn't have that father figure when they was younger, is because you never build a rapport with somebody. I'm just speaking from experience. You never build a rapport. That rapport that this person can talk to you straight up and he giving you solid advice. And the advice that he's giving you, he's actually following the advice that he's actually giving you. A lot of times in the inner city, dudes, older guys would tell you, but they're not showing what they're telling you. There's a disconnect there. And when you're younger, you don't understand it. The thing you'll think is you're telling me to do A, but you're doing B. I don't understand what's going on. And what they don't tell you is about discipline and self-restraint. Just because you can, don't mean you have to. But when you have money, especially that kind of money, that 1% kind of money, you feel like you could do anything and recover from it because you could pay for it. You can afford it. It's no issue. But what does cost you on that Rubik's Cube of life is not being able to have your kids in your presence, like living with them. I know they probably split custody and stuff like that, but it's not the same because there'll be those moments that they're not with you and you may think everything's fine. I just have to deal with the situation, but the kids they're impacted by it. So, and then on the opposite end of the spectrum, think this woman's 41, no kids, not married. I know people say, you don't, people say, they're trying to say, you don't know me like that. I don't have to know you. I know how life works. because I'm 41. I know how life works. And the question is, how do you get to 41 and not be in a solid relationship or not married with kids? Now, some people are going to say, I don't want a spouse. Okay, I get it. But if you don't have a spouse, you don't have kids, what are you really out here doing? If you reach 41 and you don't have neither, what's really going on? I'm not telling you I'm trying to get in this problem. I'm just telling you about how life works. Because I'm telling you, the older you get, and if you're not in a committed relationship or you're not willing to grow with a person, the more you get set in your ways and the harder it becomes. I don't know about you, but 41 and above 40 and starting to have kids, that's tough. It's not easy. Everybody's different. But all I'm saying is sometimes life, if you understand how life works, but let's keep watching.
Maturity level of that man.
But this is where, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
But
I
this
knew.
is where
I baited you. I knew where we were going.
your patience has
Be there.
to give him the
100%.
patience to bring his value
Yeah.
or his function up to his
100%.
value.
100%.
Right.
100%.
But
100%.
so now
100%.
100%
Yeah,
this too.
100%.
A woman
Yeah.
who has high value will not entertain or be patient with a guy that does not have
Yeah, especially if she has certain
100%.
100%.
100%.
She will.
That's
Especially if she has certain Cam. Especially if she has certain criterions that she knows most men of her age won't meet.
that's what I'm
Yes,
trying-
she has to.
So therefore, I'm telling you,
If
a
that's what
man
she
of high
wants, she has
value
to.
it's a transactional type of thing. So to your point, it's like, I know, I look at you, I look at women all the time. I have a beautiful establishment that we're in right now.
Right.
Fellowship. It garners a consumer that's about their business. This is
Absolutely.
not hookah smoking and standing on couches
Right.
and,
Twerking and
section.
doing
No,
the
no,
most,
it's
right.
not that.
Right.
This is sugar daddy's addy in here. This is businesswoman. No, you need to, we need to get this on right.
Oh,
I see it happen
Yeah.
so many times.
Wow.
Dress code. You're not coming here with Jordans and flip-flops. Like you can't do that. You
Right.
can't disrespect the altitude.
Yeah, the culture of what's here.
You see what I'm
100%.
saying?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
with that, I know and I understand a lot of people see my situation and not think that I'm not high functioning.
What situation?
So, high functioning, right, is crazy because people throw all of these words out. High functioning, high value, all this other stuff. How about just being a solid individual? We know nobody's perfect. Everybody uses it, nobody's perfect. But how about just being solid? Being a solid individual. How about learning, like say, discipline, self-restraint, common sense, and understanding how the world works around you? Most guys from the inner city do not start out at a high value level. They just don't. Most women don't start out that way. It's just all about what you do when you become an adult. Some people go to school. Some people say may do a trade. Some people just may work a regular job. Whatever's in your proximity and what's relative to your thinking, that's why I'm trying to change the thinking with the Thinking Game podcast. Make sure to watch that on Thursdays. Matter of fact, we'll be doing it tomorrow. Make sure you check us out at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Watch the Thinking Game podcast where we try to talk about these things from a thinking standpoint. But when two solid individuals get together, like I praise God for my wife, Ashley Gray. We've been married 13 years. Two solid individuals come together. Even when tough times come, you'll work your way through them. And guess what? You don't have to fuss at each other to work through it. You don't have to be drop dead arguments, none of that. But you have to be willing to resolve issues when they come. Two solid individuals will. A person that's not solid, soon stuff gets shaky, they want to run. They want to run off. They want to leave. And marrying somebody based on financial is pretty crazy because finances could change just like that. But most guys, depending on where you live, like Cam Newton is 1%, probably less than 1% of minority black males that could get to that level. It's not easy to get to that level. Because there's so many things that have to go in your favor. And he was a beast in football. But like I say, that's still like, he like a 0.5. He's not even a 1. He like 0.5% of dudes in America right now. I think the average, even dudes that make 100,000, that's still like 1%. And that's just all males. Like black is maybe half of it. So these words that be getting floated around, high value, high function and stuff like that, man, just be solid. Just learn how to be solid, man. Learn how to pay your bills, keep the house, the overhead at a manageable state, live below your means, and cover your household as a man. Always be thinking, how can you improve yourself as a man? How to be prepared for opportunities as a man. I don't know how women stuff work. I'm not a woman. I could just tell you about the man stuff. So let's keep watching. I'm probably have to stop for they ding me for.
See my situation. That's a very vague question, and it's for you
What
to even-
situation are you referring to that they're looking at and thinking is not high function?
Just my life.
Your life entirely, or your life in relationships?
My life.
See, don't deflect. Let's stay here. Your life entirely, or your life in relationships?
Both, really.
And they think that you're low functioning.
No, I don't.
You just said people see your life and think you're not high functioning. The opposite of that would be low functioning.
No. Okay, so here you go. You're trying to take my intentions away from this. Can I correct it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or can I give you more?
Yes, more information. Heck yeah.
So, I'm not married, right? I have beautiful children.
How many?
8.
I didn't do my research. I thought it was 4, but 8. Okay.
No, baby.
Cool.
It's
By how
8.
many women?
3. And this is the kicker. I want more. Now,
By multiple women? What's the intent?
I
I'm
just
saying,
want
how
God
about
to
your
bring
wife?
him. I just want God to bring him.
Oh, okay. And you have, so you just.
Because
bring 'em,
my
okay.
point is this. My desire
All right. Here's the deal. Oh, I think you're talking about, hold on.
to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. So, as you had said, Dr. Brian, you said it, I didn't say it, I will agree. I'm just taking my time.
So, a lot of guys on his level, let's just be real about it. A lot of guys on his level are more afraid to get married because when people know that you have that kind of money and you're like the 0.5%, you're going to get the most, I don't want to say the best, but they're probably going to give you everything, their best enticement. How about that? They're going to give you the best enticement that you probably, like, you think for us regular dudes, you think the temptation, like the level of discipline we got to have. Imagine the level of discipline that he has to have when he's talking to a woman, because women are going to try everything they can to break Cam. Not all women, but there are a percentage of women, a pool of women that he has to watch out for all the time. And I'm telling you, to have 8 kids by 3 different women, not only are women practically throwing themselves at him, but they're doing it in so many different ways that us regular dudes just can't even imagine how these women are coming at him. Like a lot of regular dudes, you actually have to court a woman. You have to talk to a woman. You have to get to know a woman. Cam, he probably don't have to do none of that as one of those .5ers, a .5er. He just walked. He probably can't go nowhere. He can't just go to the grocery store. He can't do nothing. He can't live a regular life. He can't just go out and ride around. Be women trying to pull him over. Tell him to pull over. And meeting somebody, you don't know if they're there to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. You don't. But they'll play the game like they there to be with you until it's convenient for them to leave. And they know when they leave, they can take based on the laws. Like, people are not stupid out here. They know the hustle. They know the game. That's why it's a thinking game out here. And I think that's what I'm saying. Cam's saying in so many ways, he's more fearful of divorce because he knows what's going to come with it. Lawyers, court fees, marriage laws, all of that. And it's harder to find somebody to build with once you've built something like Cam. Like, if you don't find somebody that's you build it with, like me and my wife, we're building together. We met when we was younger. We both, neither one of us was wealthy, but we're both building together. When my wife married me, I was engaged. I was working in Walmart and on unemployment. That probably was the lowest point in my life. But with Cam, he has to think about those things because, well, I think in Georgia, when you get married, somebody divorce you, they entitled to think about Young Jeezy. When he broke up with that woman, that Asian woman, she tried to take half. Most women not going to sign a prenup. Because of who he is, they're not signing a prenup. And some women are there to make you think that you love them. They love you until it's convenient for them to leave you. When you're wealthy like that, you have to protect yourself. You have to be mindful that you're not a regular person anymore. People are going to look at you as food. They're going to look at you as a ticket out, a way out. And it's all over the news. You see it all the time. Just nobody says the obvious sometimes. Watch a little bit more, then I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to stop because I don't want to get dinged.
You're not taking your time.
I am, though.
You're being very action-based. You're not taking your time. You're being very action-based.
I'm taking my time.
You're being very action-based. You have 8 kids with 3 different women.
Yes.
You are creating, procreating, and multiplying. That is not taking your time. You're being very selectively active. Okay? So you're creating, and disclaimer, the kids are innocent. They are beautiful and amazing. Anything I say has nothing to do with them babies because I can't wait to be a mom, and I love the kids, period. But you are proactively choosing where you want to be active at and where you want to take your time. You want to take your time in having a wife because of your own fears. But you will, and I say this with all respect and love, what I'm about to say next, okay, Cam? But you will selfishly create broken families, even if you're in their life and you're a proactive father, and I believe you're an amazing daddy. I can only imagine with just your presence and knowing you thus far. But these families are still broken. Every child cannot have Papa in the house with them. So some child, if not all, will end up with some kind of deficit without daddy being there. Now, you chose to do that. I'm not saying you sat there and woke up one morning and said, I want to be selfish today, so I'm going to go make a baby. Not saying that at all. But those are selfish acts at the expense of your fear. So at what point do you feel the fear, do it anyways? And yeah, that is a low functioning behavior. To say that I am going to create these homes. Let me go better. I'm going to build these houses and put kids and these beautiful women and kids in them, but I ain't going to create a home in them. I'm going to wait till I dissipate my fear to find a wife where I'm still going to be fearful with, because there's no such thing as not having some type of nerve or some type of feeling behind marrying somebody who you're spending your life with. And then I'm going to build a home with her while all these other beautiful babies have houses. That's completely unfair and it's selfish.
Just tell me when I can solve.
Yeah, almost. That's completely unfair and that's selfish. And so
I really want to hear his response to this, but I understand what she's saying because I grew up in a blended family. And like I said, I think that money always blur things. When a person is financially wealthy or blessed, it warps your reality around you. It's not the same as a regular person working 9 to 5 with a regular salary. It's not. Even though we have to admit, most of the 80s and 90s, a high percentage of people experience growing up in blended families, whether they wanted to or not. It's all it takes is like some bad situations of not being disciplined, and it can happen so fast. I mean, you got to think, 8 kids by 3 different women. The question is, because it's accountability on both sides. It's not just the man or it's not just the woman. It's accountability on both sides, especially if you have multiple kids. The one that has both, I don't know how they work out, but have multiple kids. Are you having multiple kids knowing that he's not going to settle down with you because of the financial? You got to ask these kind of questions. Would you do this with another person if they didn't have the financial needs, the financial backing or financial lifestyle that he could give you by having this kid? Most women not gonna do that. Some women, it happens just, by happenstance, it wasn't protecting themselves and they're just out here playing around. But having 8 kids by 3 different women, awareness is, you have to ask that question. Did you have multiple kids because of the lifestyle he can provide to you, because he's probably the 0.5%? You gotta ask that question.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
And the kids will have a deficit. From growing in a blended family, you can only be one place at one time. But when you have kids spread out, different moms, that means you're dealing with different genetic pools. You're mixing your DNA in different genetic pools. Some women are volatile, some are not. Some women are spiteful, some are not. Some women are vindictive, some are not. You never know. But when you are, I don't know, I'm not wealthy. I'm just saying most dudes that's wealthy, it's almost like they don't care. They feel like they can just buy their way through it. They can pay for whatever. It don't matter. I can pay for that. And once again, I say to my young brothers and my middle-aged brothers, me, I'm 41 and under, discipline and self-restraint. One of the most important tools you can have in your toolbox as a man. I want to hear this response, then I'm going to go ahead and stop.
Yes, you're taking your time in this department, but you're not taking your time in this department, which means you're compartmentalizing. And compartmentalizing never works. Compartmentalizing hurts everybody involved. Everybody who's in this box and that box and this box and that box and this box. And then here you go over here trying to figure out what box you're going to feed or entertain or do. Then you're looking outside to figure out who's your next victim to put in the box. It's unhealthy. And it's a huge dysfunction within our Black community that I truly believe personally, statistically, mental health-wise, and community-wise, that Black men would stop.
Black men will what?
Stop doing that, that they would stop that dysfunctional behavior of compartmentalizing and creating houses, not homes, and then finally a home with the wife. And then you have all these other houses that are homeless. But you over here, at some point when you do get a wife, if you do, I'm saying if that's what you want, you will. You'll get whatever you want. You're trying to create a home. Totally dysfunctional. And
So, totally my opinion. I understand what she's saying about dysfunctional behavior. And it's a cycle that we deal with. I don't even think it's just Black men. It's just men, period. A lot of men that grow up without their father end up going through that dysfunctional cycle of trying to figure themselves out. But in the process of figuring yourself out, you make those critical or those unseeming mistakes that you have to pay for. It slows down your progress as you get older because you got to handle that. Like Cam, not a regular dude. He don't have to, it's not going to impede his progress because he has the financials to, go through the court proceedings and child support and stuff like that. But a regular guy who have 8 kids by 3 different women, he is behind an 8 ball already. He was probably behind an 8 ball after 2, maybe 3. But he definitely behind 8 ball at 8, 9, 10. I mean, if you're not in that top 1% having 8 kids by that different women and they all put you on child support, man, you're almost done out here, man. It's going to be tough. You're going to have to be at least making probably 6 figures, like well over 6 figures to handle that. And still have some money left in your pocket to just take care of your overhead. And I think that's one thing we have to teach our young brothers is we have to teach them how to not get caught up in that dysfunctional behavior. And also the women have to teach the women as well. Because most men, they're going to do what they're allowed to do. If a woman allow a man to come into her life and do those things, he probably, most of the time when you're that young, if he don't have the discipline and self-restraint, he probably gonna do it. 9 times out of 10, a 90% chance he probably gonna do it because he lacks the discipline and self-restraint. And let's be honest, there are a pool of women out there, not all women, a pool of women out there that even if you have self-restraint and discipline, they will try to break you, or they'll try to break that discipline. It's almost like a challenge to him. I know he want me. I know he can't say no to me. They'll try to break it. Or there are women out there that know that men, if they catch you at a lustful time, they know how to break you. And they looking for men like Cam to break. I'm telling you. So let's listen some more.
extremely, that's the epitome of selfish. Epitome of selfish. I'm done. You can go for it.
Okay, say less. All right, so what identifies as a broken home?
What you have going on with whoever you're not in the house with is a broken home. It's called a blended family. It's called a blended family.
That means?
That the family is blended. So blended
So blended means broken?
Yeah.
Okay. So the guy that you were entertaining, you would go as low as 26.
That I would entertain?
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
And as high as what age?
Whatever man that doesn't have kids.
As high as
Whoever doesn't have kids, whatever age he is with no kids.
I just.
No, that's the age. I'm saying I don't have an age range as far as how old. If he has no kids,
So your
he's a candidate.
non-negotiable is a person who does not have children.
My non-negotiable is a person with kids. But yes, I get how you're saying it. Yes,
So you cannot date a person. You cannot be with a
I
person.
can, but I'm choosing not to.
So
I can be with
like-
anyone, but I'm
like
choosing not to.
You're.
I gotta correct it. It's my narrative, Cam.
You're
I
like
can,
jumping in,
I
jumping out. It's either.
can. No, it's not. I can't. There's no such thing. I can date whoever I want. I am definitely well equipped to do so.
Okay.
So I'm not going to allow that word to be something that fits what I can't do. I'm well equipped to date anybody.
Yes.
My preference,
Yes.
because there's nothing wrong with a lot of men who have kids. So I don't want to put that narrative out there.
Yes.
My personal preference is I would not choose to date a man with kids.
Okay.
Yes.
So
See, that's another thing too about life and dating and dealing with other people. Everybody has a preference. Somebody's preference don't make them a bad person. They just have a preference, man. We live in a world now that people get mad because you have a preference, and because you don't fit their preference, you're bashing them or you don't like them. No, they just have a preference. And I would be hard pressed if she's a doctor, if she's educated, that she wouldn't understand if dudes have a preference for women. Most high value guys that I've ran into and talked to, a woman that's her age, like 41, no kid, it's almost like they're looking at it like, how did you get here and not be courted or not even been engaged? Or maybe she ain't said it, but you haven't been in like a solid long-term relationship, but she haven't said it. Maybe she have, but how are you 41 and single though? With no kids. I could go deeper on that, but I'm not. I'm just saying, sometimes that question get asked by dude, how did you get to 41 single with no kids?
So you're dating a man with kids. Just a scenario.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yes.
You're dating a man with kids.
Yes.
So you've identified that that's a broken home from the jump. With your verbiage of blended family means broken.
I've identified that I'm dating a broken man who is creating who he is, because we could teach what we know, we create who we are. And so broken people create brokenness, whether it's through a child, whether it's through a relationship, whether it's through themselves. It doesn't have to be a beautiful baby, but you're creating brokenness. And broken people can come from married households. I'm not saying that a two-parent household can't create the result of a child who then has brokenness and creates broken blended families everywhere.
That's
I'm not
my-
negating
That's
that.
not my point.
No, I know, I'm making that point. But yes.
But my point,
My answer is I not only identified that those homes are houses without a home because he's not in them,
yeah,
but also that he's a broken man.
but you're going to be with a broken man.
No, I won't. I just said I wouldn't be with a man. I wouldn't be with a broken man who has multiple kids. I would take
No, not multiple. I'm
well,
talking.
a kid. It doesn't
So
matter.
you're
I don't
not
wanna-
going to date a man with children.
No, but let me clear this up because you said I won't date a broken man. That's not what I said.
No, I said, are you, listen to what I'm
I
saying.
heard you.
Doc.
Let me answer it. Hold on. We all have a level of brokenness. So will I date a broken man? Yes. Am I going to date a certain type of brokenness? No.
Of course you're not.
And that type of brokenness is a man who has kids outside of me isn't something that's conducive for what I want forever.
But will you date him?
No.
So that goes to my point. I'm trying to ask
Mm-hmm.
a question. You have two different men right here. One man who has.
I will not date a man with kids.
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
Yes. I will
But
not.
do you understand, just off of the statistics,
Here we go. Go ahead and be a statistic and say it because I hear it all the time. And
what?
say it.
You say what you're saying, and I'm going to either.
Based on
agree-
statistics, most men have kids. Go for it.
at your age.
But that's why I said early on, Cam, when you said young and remember the patience of me being older woman, I said, well, for, a woman who has certain qualifications or criterions like no kids, that would be, I have to have enough brain cells to know, baby, that's the payoff. Okay, he may be younger, successful, no kids, but now you have to make sure you implement the patience. Or you get you an older man who has kids, and he could have been married with his kids. There's a lot of different scenarios why men have kids, okay? But then you don't have to have as much patience with him as maturity.
All right, let me stop, man, because I don't want to get dinged, but, man, listen. When she hear this saying she wouldn't date a man with kids, I get the preference. I get it. Everybody a lot of people have those kind of preferences. They don't want to date a person with kids because it get very complicated real fast. I get it. But the thing is, what he's trying to tell her is, at your age, at 41, your preference, it narrows down. It cuts out so many men that it's almost like trying to find a needle in the haystack. Pretty much what he's trying to tell her. And you're only, she's getting older. She probably want a younger, successful guy. She didn't say young, she said young and successful. A lot of young and successful guys, like I said, unless you have a male figure in your life that teach you discipline and restraint, most young guys that's successful, they will look at her and the last thing that they're going to think is marriage. 23-year-old successful guy making money and see somebody like her? Nah, not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And those guys are like a 1% in that age range that's going to do that. Most guys are going to see her as a target. And I'm throwing darts. What a dart going to land at? They're not looking to settle down with somebody that's older when you're 22. And guess what? Most guys is 41 and older. They're going to look like, how did you get to 41 single with no kids? Are you still intact? You going to tell me that the apple ain't got no bites in it? It's just a whole apple? So, just something to think about. You gotta be careful out here, man. You gotta make good decisions. And I'm telling my brothers again, you have to exercise discipline and restraint. I know Cam is trying to make a point, but I can tell you from the reality of it is, blended families are tough, man. It's not easy. Not easy. And a lot of times the kids are the collateral damage of it. And it may be some brokenness in there. It takes, when you become an adult, this is just me. When you become an adult, when you become 18, 19, you live on your own, you have to learn about yourself. You have to learn about your strengths, and you have to learn about your flaws, or your pros and cons of you. You have to learn about these things. I am blank. I am blank. Nobody else is responsible for learning about you except for you. You have to learn about you. What sets me off? Why I don't like to argue. Because there are people out there that like to argue. And they'll tell you that you should argue. If you don't argue, man, that's probably kind of weak. But if you know yourself, you say, nah, I don't argue because if I get mad, it's different than when you get mad. But see, people don't like talking about that kind of stuff. But you need to talk about that kind of stuff. Because I'm telling you, when you in a court of law, they don't care about your upbringing. They don't care about you being broken. They're going to put you in front of a jury, run through the proceedings with a judge, and you going to probably have to defend yourself to a jury. You have to realize ain't nothing worth losing your freedom over. There's some things like protecting your family and stuff like that, sure. But, you know, all this minimal stuff, meaningless stuff, ain't nothing worth putting you behind an 8-ball when you could have exercised discipline. You don't want to have 8 kids by 3 different women. That's not an ideal situation. It's just not. It's not. Whether it's Cam, whether it's any other guy, I'm telling you, young guy, it's not ideal to have 8 kids by 3 different women. It's not. No matter how you try to cut it, no matter how you try to frame it, it's not ideal to do. And it's going to be, you're going to find out when the kids get older how tough it was. They may not say nothing, because most of the time parents don't allow kids to say nothing. But you may see it in your kids as they get older, like, wow, you know, the presence of their father, if they was here more. You think about those things. A lot of times people have those kids by those those 0.1% guys, and all you thinking about is a lifestyle. I'm getting X amount of dollars a month for child support. But you don't think about the blowback from the presence of a father not being there. All you thinking about is the lifestyle and the money. Because if somebody say, no, I'm not thinking about that, why did you have multiple kids when the first kid, he didn't settle down with you, he didn't make you his wife? Why did you have the second or third kid?
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
And then to the guy, even to Cam, why didn't you exercise discipline and self-restraint? Even though you have the financial money and you're the 1% of men in the world, doesn't mean that you have to do things that could be considered reckless. That's all I'm saying. Be careful out here, man. Don't be reckless. And like I say, there are men who don't have discipline and restraint, and there are women who will prey on your lack of discipline and restraint. They will literally prey on that. You talk about men being apex hunters. No, I think women are a little bit more apex hunters than men. And they can prey on your weaknesses, man. Because they, especially older women, they dealt with men most of their life. So they know, they get a young guy, they already know how to finesse him. They already know. I've been down the road. They already know. If you got the patience, I'm telling you how crazy I was when I was younger. And I'm going to stop. If you had the patience and you just sat back and watched, like, I know what's finna happen. I know she all about XYZ. I'm going to just sit back and watch how she try to pull this off. And it's amazing how it just is almost like a pattern. And everybody has a pattern, whether it's me, anybody. Everybody has a pattern. But it's amazing that people have these patterns and they don't even care that the pattern is obvious because they've been doing it for so long and that's what works for them. And that's what I'm saying. That's a pattern. How does a woman, I'm telling you, most older guys think about that. How did she make it to 41 single with no kids and still be intact and whole? Not been, been out there playing around in the streets. That's a riddle. How do you make it? But with that being said, man, I'm finna get off here. I just want to talk about this. It's almost been an hour. I'm gonna go ahead and get off here, but just wanted to talk about that, man. And like a person that comes from a blended family, man, discipline and self-restraint, man, is one of the most important things. My young brothers, please, if you don't hear nothing else, I tell you, self-restraint and discipline. will take you further and will save you a lot of troubles and headaches. Well, with that being said, make sure to check out the Thinking Game podcast tomorrow at 6 as I get ready to close. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. This is Mike, and I'm signing out.